All right. And once we're familiar why we're using use reducer, now let's wire up that reducer. Because at the moment, our reducer is empty. And essentially what I want to do is set up a function that's looking for two things: for the current state and the action that is dispatched. And also in the app context, we want to import the reducer, which is sitting in a file right next door. And then instead of use state, the dummy state that we currently have, I'm actually going to use reducer. And then the first thing that we pass in is this function, which again is going to access the state and action. And then also we'll get the initial state. And then we can start setting up our first actions. So let's navigate to a reducer. And we're going to go here with reducer function. It's going to be equal to a state and action. And then inside of the function body, we'll just throw the error. So this is going to run if we'll dispatch some kind of action that's not actually handled in our reducer. And in this case, since I want to access the action type, I'm going to go with template string, and then let's just say no such action, and then colon, and then let's access the action type. So I'm going to go here for my interpolation, and then let's just say action and then type. Now we do want to export this as default. So export default, and then we're looking for the reducer, and then back in the app context, let's scroll up, and before or after the initial state, I'm going to do it above it. I'm going to go with import, then reducer from, and like I said, it's right next door. So we look for a reducer, and then we might as well remove the use state. We're not going to use it, and replace it with use reducer. And then in here, we're looking for two things. We're looking for the reducer. So that's going to be the function which will handle our dispatch. And this is going to be our initial state. And then where we have the state and set state, since we're not using use state, we're actually using reducer. I'm also going to rename this as dispatch. So that way we know for sure that we're using use reducer. And with these changes in place, we can start setting up our first actions.